Hello and welcome to the Insane Empire podcast. We don't have a lot of time for introductions, so I'm Jacob.
I'm Juan.
Ginger Avenger.
Rafa.
Jessica.
Alexa.
Remember last year
I
we
was
had
expecting
Sarah?
her to speak,
Yes.
and then you spoke, and I was like...
Exactly how I figured that would go. So let's just go ahead and dive straight into it. So we're talking about insane, right? We're talking about how it all began, how it all started. So the very first insane, it's at Hickory Cove, and we're going in, right? We're trying to plan it and figure it out. I'm new to the game, so that was my very first experience with any of the youth. I have heard though that may not be the very first insane.
That was well, there's technicalities.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because the very first insane was not a full insane like we know it, like a full official, like with teams, like the nations.
It was mentally unstable.
Yeah, it was mentally unstable. But it was here in the church. It was like just one night overnight. Pastor Josue, like we all sat down and we were like, what can we do for like a youth retreat? And like I remember specifically fighting with him about like, we need to have an overnight retreat. Like it needs to be 24 hours. You have to stay up the whole time.
You're the Nathaniel of that generation.
Yeah, and now I'm like, never again. Why would I do that? But like, you know, back then you have like energy to spare. But yeah, that was like 8 years ago. Something like that.
Gosh,
like
I can't believe we're that far.
Yeah, like 8 years ago. And it was more on like the spiritual side. And we did like one afternoon of games.
So was there teams or?
Not, I mean, there was
there a winner?
Not necessarily. That's why I say it's
with
like
Pastor
an
Josue, there
unofficial.
wasn't a winner.
Do we want to go there? Do we want to go there? I don't know. It was. I mean, I'm sure there was a winner, but it wasn't like we didn't have like Vitality, Defiant, Resolute, like all the nations as we know them. Like it was just like you're green and you're yellow and get together in this moment. Like there was no draft. There was no like this was not insane at the level that we know it. You know, and then obviously like the year that we went to Hickory Cove was like the official start of insane with the logos and the all the stuff.
See, that was my impression that was the start of it.
Were any of you at the one that we did here?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were several that actually did participate in that. It's vague memory.
Yeah, it's very vague. It's
very vague memory of like 8 years ago. But yes, so there was like a little trial run of what could be. And like we actually did have like, you know, fire service, like, you know, then we, you know, it was a little bit of that, but.
So it was successful.
It was
that's
successful.
What built onto
it was
being
successful.
insane.
It was very successful. And I very specifically remember, like, there was a sermon that Pastor Carlos did at 3 a.m.
Wow.
Like, yeah, like in deep at 3 a.m. So, you remember that? Yeah. Yeah, so that was the kind of like first insane, and then like the first official insane would be, I guess, what we know as Hickory Cove.
All right, so Hickory Cove, let's dive into that a little bit. I was in a little bit of the planning of that, and then one of the games. So that was my first introduction really to iChurch. Really, I was still very new in iChurch, and we started diving in, and I remember going with Gio, helped us set up a little bit, I believe, and then we had to get all the games together. One of the things I remember the most is that I got called a redneck quite a bit, but I've been told that that's not necessarily what they meant whenever they were saying it, because it was in Spanish. It wasn't quite
that's a
redneck,
translation
right?
thing. That's a translation. I mean, like, you know, in Puerto Rico they say jibaro all the time. So like, but proud
hillbilly.
redneck.
Hillbilly or redneck? What's it translate to?
More on the redneck.
Okay.
Yeah, more on the redneck side. Farmer.
Yeah,
country people.
Gotcha.
So it's probably meant in like
I think maybe hillbilly.
Hillbilly?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, you got called a redneck and stuff.
I'll take it. Does anybody remember my part?
I do not. Which one?
worms and crickets.
Worms and crickets.
crickets.
That's right.
Oh,
Me and
yes, I do
Sheldon
remember.
ran the eating
That's
part of
right.
it.
I do remember Sheldon in that now. Yes.
Yeah, the redneck.
The nasty food.
I don't. It's a vague memory just because I have never, and I say this very proudly, I have never eaten a single thing in insane. I
Change
cannot.
that this year.
No, I'm not
Yes.
in it. Come on.
You know who has eaten everything?
You no, and I do that. Like I always told my team every year. I'm like, if you want to, you can. But you don't have to. We'll win points another way. Like, same with the haircuts. Are we talking about the haircuts?
No, that didn't happen until Crowder's
That didn't
Ridge.
happen till Crowder's Ridge.
Crowder's
Okay,
Ridge
okay.
is next
Next
episode,
episode,
just so you know.
yeah.
So you got to tune in
Yeah.
next time. Hear a little bit more about the creative side of it, and then also a few of the more
wild.
extreme things.
Yeah.
But the main thing that I remember is the scavenger hunt then, because that was the only one that I was part of. I remember, like, obviously the eating things. Yeah, I think you had to crawl through mud. Everybody was a rookie, so it was kind of like the initial rookie run. You knew who was going to do what. I remember that there was like a trash can full of ice water. And y'all were doing like handstands or something.
You had to like
Who did
have
that
like
for
a whole
our
bunch of
team?
people like hold you up,
Hold
and then
you
you just
up,
had to
yeah.
I
put
just
your
remember
head in
Evan
for like
how-
1 minute and
Evan
ice
how-
water.
He killed it.
Evan
He-
slammed
Evan,
that.
remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that man killed that challenge.
Yeah, we had
Evan?
Evan.
100%.
Yeah.
Evan was
He
absolute
beasted
Chad.
that. What team was Evan on?
Defiant.
Defiant.
Was it Defiant? I don't remember who did that for
Unfortunately, we bombed that challenge though because we thought whoever finished the fastest would get the most points. But little did we know that we missed every single extra challenge possible to mankind.
Yes, all the other ones.
Yeah, so like literally it was just like, yeah, we finished first. You're in fourth.
Okay, let's go to that. I heard the placement of that. There was a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
of
garbage.
controversy. Maybe some people didn't play as fairly as they should. Maybe somewhere in the sand
Someone
pit.
hid some certain wood
Listen,
blocks.
listen. Vitality got blamed. Okay, so if you don't know, there's 4 nations. It's Vitality, Defiant,
Earth,
and
wind.
Anarchy, and Resolute. This all started, and each one has their own little, core values and stuff. But anyways, Resolute, Noah as captain, Vitality got blamed and even got like deducted points because they said we cheated in this sandpit game where you had to find like these pieces of puzzles. And I knew my team. I was like, we are loyal. We are, we are not like that. And truth be told, from my understanding, it was Resolute the whole time.
Now,
Then
we
you
do
guys-
have a representative from
Yeah.
Resolute there.
Yeah.
There she
So,
is.
Miss Alexa, can you confirm or deny?
I will neither confirm nor deny those accusations just because
It wasn't the only year you've ever done that, but whatever. Backpack. Was it your backpack?
Plead the
No, it was Gio.
That's next episode. Yeah, next episode. Yeah. Anyways, we all know that Rez, although they seem like cool, wise owls, they are sneaky.
Okay.
So, and they've always allied with Defiant. So, what can you
Yes.
expect? What can you expect?
They were like the most rivals, and they still like teamed up.
Yeah.
So, in that first one, I guess we finally get to see the identities of these nations, right? So, do we have... who all was there in that very first one?
Yep, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you're the only one that didn't play then.
I came in Crowder's Ridge.
Man, I was looking at it. I think I'm the only one that's never played Insane.
That's so sad.
Right? That is
You've only
crazy.
ever created it.
I've only
We
created
need to do
it.
an
I've
Insane
never-
just for Jacob.
That's right. Just me. Y'all
just
put
for-
me through all these different things. You cut my hair. And
Yeah, cut off with the eyebrows.
make me eat a frog.
Yeah, take his eyelashes too. You and Pastor Josue just going at it.
But anyway, so Defiant is here, correct?
Yeah.
Y'all two are Defiant. We got Vitality,
Or
Anarchy,
Defiant.
Third place.
and then
All
Resolute.
right, we'll get there. We'll get there. Third year into it.
I want to touch on the identity of these nations. So we'll just start over here, and then we'll go around. Tell me a little bit about how it was created that first year. How y'all decided what Defiant was.
Meatheads.
That's a true
John
story.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But I think our main phrase was the primitives.
Yeah.
And I always understood that to be because we were the first ones to win Insane. But maybe.
But you were the primitives before.
Yeah, was that decided before?
Well, see, that's why I said that's what I understood it to be.
It was also decided because we just had a very primitive way of doing things. Like if they were just like throw ball into hoop, we'd just be like, okay, strategy guys, throw ball into hoop.
Why
There was
say
no-
more work when
There was no like strategic placement of like offense and defense. Like it was just like, all right, everybody, get a ball, throw it into the hoop. Like don't do anything else.
You guys were
Very straightforward.
That's so
very
crazy,
primitive.
though.
Very
Because
savage.
Yeah,
was Chris your leader?
Chris Rodriguez, yeah.
He's very detailed and strategic. So how does that play into?
Yeah, but Chris, if we had him here, which maybe in another episode we might be able to get him. But Chris is the most competitive. Everybody thinks it's Josue, but Chris is beyond competitive. So he doesn't care. He does not care what he's got to do. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, Chris is like that low key competitive that like all of a sudden like you're
he's
like
cool,
sitting there
calm,
just
collected.
like and then he's like death staring you in the background like in the corner just
one
like,
of these, one of these,
Yeah.
one of these.
Yeah, just like very
corner.
heavy
I feel like
breathing.
he's always thinking. Like
Always.
the gears are always.
You can
turning.
tell like something, and like this is part of it because I grew up with him. But if you really want to tell when he's like pissed off and ready to come at you, he starts like chewing his teeth, and you can see his temples like like going back and forward. You know you're done.
Yeah. So Chris is very primitive, I would say.
So let's move on to their allies, Resolute. So is that true? Is the Resolute and Defiant allyship? I guess it would be alliance. Is that a thing?
I think, well, actually, yeah. I agree with that. I think we really, in the game, would try to paint it like Noe and Chris would always try to paint it like, no, yeah, we're butting heads, we're going against each other type of thing. And
So
whatever.
from the beginning, though, from the
Well, but I think that's how they really wanted to paint it because it maybe helped their game. But honestly, like deep down, like it was very.
They were plotting.
They were plotting
so
all the time, and
All the time.
and the crazy thing is it wasn't just with. Even when Chino, well, that's later on, so never mind. But
Well,
sorry.
Resolute. They were always the ones
That's
to
a
switch
tragedy.
captains. Always switching captains. They never had the
A
same
tragedy
one.
happened there, but
We've been through more captains than
just kidding,
insane.
Chino. But I that's something that has always been very
sending
strong, I guess, in like set in stone is like that alliance, even though maybe rivals, whatever, but that alliance has always been pretty strong from the beginning.
So Resolute, like, what is their identity? What are they known for?
I feel like one of those little like Dom Toretto thingies is gonna come out here.
It's a family.
Ding, 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 ding.
Familia.
Familia.
This is Brazil.
R.I.P. No, I think it has been. Our slogan was "We are Res."
Very original.
Very original.
original.
But I think the identity of what Resolute really was that they created a really family-based environment. Like everybody, like we're all in this together type of vibe where like if we're getting our hands dirty, if one is getting our hands dirty, we're all getting in there. And so I mean, I again, like I'm not gonna confirm some stuff, but if we're gonna do something, I'm sorry, but we're gonna do it.
You're all in. We're all guilty.
We're gonna do it together as
And
family.
so I mean, we haven't. Thankfully, nobody's ever gotten caught doing something wrong, and so maybe after.
And Defiant has always gotten bashed.
But
Defiant
that's
has
because we're
always
very
gotten
obvious
bashed.
with what we did, man. 'Cause, like,
You're
we'd be sitting there just
savages.
like,
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, we'll get to the year of the unexpected, and we will talk
I
about
cannot wait.
kickball.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll talk about kickball.
I was on your team the year the unexpected.
Okay, let's move on to what I feel like is more the like solid rock of Insane.
the most consistent team.
Very consistent.
Don't have to speak. They already spoke.
Let's talk about Anarchy.
So, Anarchy.
Reset.
Known for many things. I would say it has to have a little story. We are known to be the weirdest team ever. Why? Why are we the weirdest team ever? So you got these primitives, you got the family, and then you got Anarchy. Why do I say it like
Band kids, band kids.
Every year that we've done Insane, we get somebody new and we get somebody different and we get so many different ages. And I think a lot of people like put the blame on that, but I think like honestly, we just don't know how it works. Like we like the times, yes, we end up third place every year. That's what we get called out for
At least
third
it's
year.
not fourth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
and
could be worse.
we've actually never hit fourth place. We've actually never hit fourth place, which you did. You did. You
No,
did.
hold up. You're getting
Whoa,
I never hit
whoa,
fourth
whoa,
place.
whoa. I personally have never been.
I've
in
never.
fourth place.
Oh, we have been in fourth place, huh?
Yeah.
So
When I moved over to
Vitality
Vitality.
is ride or die. We're all or nothing. We were either first or fourth.
Hey,
first
but that
or
year
fourth,
it was
first or
stolen
fourth.
from us.
You
It
want
was
to know?
stolen from
You
us.
want to know my
So-
consistency?
So Anarchy's slogan is, we never win, but we never lose.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
actually
Where you going?
Vitality's.
Is that where you go?
No, we either always
Yeah,
won
yeah.
or we
Oh,
always
that's right.
lost.
That's right. That's right. Ours is consistency.
Yeah, we were very
So-
categorized.
Dude, but yeah, and then there was one year that was like very fast forward. I'm skipping into timeline, but that was our proudest moment is going second place.
Hey.
But let's leave it at that. Let's
2019.
leave it at that.
We'll have to come back to
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
we're gonna come back
Aguilera.
to that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Vitality.
Vitality.
Yeah, and,
Vitalidad.
Live.
Yeah, they're savages. They're wise owls. They're third place, and
I feel like y'all are always there just to have fun.
We
It's
were-
like,
we were-
whatever we want to
listen,
do.
we were frolicking in the fields. Okay, like we're like over in the corner dancing with butterflies or something. I don't know.
Or
No,
hitting a cat pose in a dance pad.
Yeah. No, our we were always in the corner like dancing or something weird. No, our slogan was live, breathe, die trying, and that was like the thing that would pump us up every time. Like anytime we were feeling down or whatever, we would like, no, live, breathe, die trying. You gotta go for it. That's why it's like we were either first or fourth. Like we either died trying or we were living, breathing. You know. So I think that was like our biggest, takeaway as far as Vitality. You could definitely tell who was on Vitality. Most of the time we picked a lot of creatives.
Okay.
And so a lot of the creative challenges and games, we just slammed those. And, then we had a couple of like big dudes. And so that was about.
Now, y'all were the
about the
only
gist of
one
us.
with a theme song, if I remember correctly.
Of course we had a theme song. Yeah, and it actually happened in the first year of Insane.
Okay.
I don't know who was in charge of that challenge, but we sucked. It was something with a tree log, and I don't even remember the rules. And I swear Pastor Josue kept changing the rules. Okay, all right, me and Gio were very frustrated that
There's
year.
a different rule for every team. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah,
one team,
yeah.
like it's just
I
like
think
you
he
got to
was
get
making them up
16
as he
people
goes.
over, whole team, and then the next team, oh, just get 5. It's
It's
cool.
okay. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah,
Just go
so
on.
I don't remember exactly what happened. It was some sort of thing where we had to balance the team on this like teeter-totter wood thing, and we were there. I mean, it was based off of time, and I would say we were there for over 30 minutes. It got to the point
Yeah.
I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it got to the point where they
that
had
was
to.
horrible. That was horrible.
Yeah, they had to just cut us off. They were like, "I'm sorry, guys. It's been almost an hour. Like, we have
Well,
to
that
move on
challenge
to
was
the
so
next."
bad that Pastor
Yeah.
mentioned it in a fire service, and it was like, man, it was so funny seeing white people try to jump onto the
No,
wall.
it's so bad. It was so bad. And me and Gio, we were like, honestly, the whole team, like, Dinah, Sarah, like we had this guy, Josh Tran, on the team at that time. We were all so bummed, and we were just walking away, just like down this like dirt road, like we are worms, we suck. And then, if my memory serves me correctly, a plastic bag just kind of like blows by us. And then Josh Tran and Daniel Sawyer were like, "Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?" And then we all just burst out into Firework by Katy Perry. And that was our theme song for years to come, because like we just all united and like, you know what? We suck, but it's okay. We're fireworks. We're going to shine one day. Like, super cheesy. But it was very emotional.
Okay,
So,
coming to
very connected.
the end of the game part of that, who won that very first insane?
Defiant won.
You know
That's all
what
you
you're
need to
getting
say.
into.
That's all you need to say.
A win is
That's
a
all you need
win.
to say.
A win is once the
Defiant
name
win.
is announced, that is the winner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you
Defiant
something.
won.
Third place, baby. Third place.
Defiant won that year, but we all know it should have been Rose, because there was a technicality. Okay. Pastor Josue decided to throw another insane final game on a Switch night the Friday after.
Okay.
And so half of my team was from Greensboro. So they weren't there, obviously. And so Defiant had the most people show up, and
So was that the challenge? Whoever had the most?
Yeah, and I'm like, what happened to all the other games?
there was a whole challenge.
An obstacle.
Yeah, it was
There
like
was
an
a whole
obstacle
challenge.
course.
It wasn't,
and,
yeah, it was like throughout this
Yeah,
whole, like
yeah.
in the building, outside into the field, like
Oh,
all sorts.
shoot.
It was another. It was a straight up
And
other
you know what?
scavenger hunt.
That
We were like, "Are you
supports-
for real? We already did this once. Why
Yeah,
are we doing
that
this
supports
again?"
my statement of why I say that my team, my nation, has weird people because it was 50-50 every time. So yeah, we were definitely not gonna win that challenge.
We're definitely not gonna win.
As Rez, how did you feel about the very?
I
first
remember.
wave?
Okay, yeah, you guys won. Whatever. Once the winners announced, they're announced. Okay, but I was so pissed off at Josue. Like I remember, I went up to him that same night. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
We were all mad. We were
Half
all
of
mad.
my team, like Resolute, wasn't even there. He's like,
Yeah.
"How come they got their whole team?" Well, I don't know.
Because they're all iChurchers.
But they're all iChurchers, whatever it is. But I'm like, it's not fair. And I remember that night, we were going through each one, and I was just mad. Like the whole time, I was just so mad. I would keep huffing and puffing the whole time. Ooh.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure if Chris were here, he would say differently. But
A little question that I have because I don't know how were the teams picked?
that was so.
It's like you're being
That was
drafted to
done
the
by
army.
the leadership.
Yeah, you just get like a letter in the mail, and it was just like,
Yeah, apparently there was like an invitation. Yeah, there was an invitation sent out, but like pre-show to that, like in the planning of Insane, like we sat down, we even picked our colors, our logos. Like the captains got to pick those things.
Okay.
Like me and Gio picked our slogan. You know, Chris picked his slogan. Noah, you know, and we made it our own little like vibe and character. And so in the draft, we took all of the youth that were a possibility of coming to Insane, and we just evened out the teams pretty much.
Wow. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we all sat in a room with a whiteboard and just evened it out pretty much, and then I got the other half of Greensboro. So
I was pretty even.
there was no rookie run that year
I can't
because we
believe
were all technically rookies.
Yeah.
So no rookie run. Rookie
The
run
rookie
started
run
in
was-
Crowder's Ridge.
Was the scavenger hunt and how fast
Yeah,
they could run
pretty
through
much,
the wilderness
yeah.
at breakneck speed.
All right, I do have a question because we always talk about that it's a spiritual retreat, but it seems like we always focus on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything on that first year that you're saying this stuck out to me? I know it's been a minute, but do you remember anything about the services?
Oh man,
anything going that way?
there was so much. Personally, for me, like I don't know if you guys remember, like one of the things that always sticks out to me is Hannah Colbert. Now, she was Hannah Fields at that time, and she was the co-captain of Rez. I don't know if you remember that.
She was.
Her and Kata and Davis were co-captains. And Hannah was always kind of this person. I mean, she still is very, you know, reserved, but she was like a behind-the-scenes kind of girl. Like she was a production girl. And this was the first time I remember Pastor Josue like really invested in her and like pushed her to get out of her comfort zone. And she ended up singing in worship for the first time. And it was the song Holy Spirit. And that just, I mean, we were slain. We were slain. And then like Juan painted for the first time.
Castro, right?
Castro, yeah. And he was not the captain of
No,
Anarchy at the
he
time.
was. No, at the time he was one of our
It
teammates.
was David, right? David was
David,
and Victoria. Victoria, I think,
Victoria.
was the captain.
Yeah.
And David was her co.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that now.
Yeah.
First captain of Anarchy.
No,
correct?
he was
No.
not. I believe it was. I think Victoria was like the main captain, and then David Colbert was a co-captain. I believe.
And at that time we had like some memory verse to read, and he would be the one teaching it to us.
Yes.
Yes.
Always
Sounds
Dr.
right.
David.
Yeah.
Always Dr. David.
Dr. David.
Yeah, and so that was the first time that he did the Jesus. Man, I'm telling you, I don't know about y'all, but like thinking back, I mean, every Insane, like the retreat portion of it, like our connection with God, worship. I mean, every year has such iconic moments, but man, that first year was amazing.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the reason why the game is so important, because it does tear your physical completely down to where God can really speak to the spiritual.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even though we talk a lot about the games and that's our memories, we know that in our hearts, that's where all the work's done. So you you go. It's kind of like fasting, right?
Yeah.
But you're just completely breaking down your physical strength to where the spiritual side gets fed more and more.
Yeah, it makes you more vulnerable. I think it makes you more, and especially because like in your teams, you're creating these relationships and you're getting to know people on a different level. I mean, you're literally out there in the dirt, like pumping each other up, you know, trying to get through these obstacles. And I think it makes people more susceptible to be able to open up to their captain or open up to, you know, another team member about some of the things that they're going through in real life.
Gotcha. So we've talked a lot about Insane and what it is, but if there's anybody out there that maybe this is their first year thinking about it, I know that we're talking about the very beginning, but what's one thing that anybody would say, hey, this is why you should come to Insane? It could be one, maybe up to 3 points. What's something that you would say to that rookie that's like, man, I don't know. I hear them yelling. I hear them talking about their nations and everything, but I don't know if it's for me. What would you say to them?
From my personal experience, it would have to be just about every little detail that goes into this event. I mean, we literally are going there for 3 to 4 days to focus on you and to give you the best time of your life, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. So I think there's a lot to give, and I think overall, people's perspective, you don't really have to read into a person's head to be able to see the changes in their mind, in their lives. You can see it when we come back from that retreat. They feel different, and they ask more questions. They're more involved. They're more intrigued by what it is to be living in a true Christian life. And I feel like that has been, it always inspires me.
Gotcha.
I love seeing that.
Gotcha. Anybody else got anything they would like to add?
I think for me, it's an escape from reality, even sort of kind of thing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, where they go into the camp and it has even like a shield. And so I just feel like once you go into Insane, it's sort of something like that. Gotcha. Like you go in, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, social media. You don't have to worry about your parents. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You know, it's literally just you focusing on yourself and finding your calling, because a lot of people have found their calling at Insane. And so I really feel like it's something so amazing to experience, because it's not just, you know, heavy stuff. It's not just heavy lifting. It's a lot of like, you know, getting to know people, meeting new friends, and things like that, you know. So honestly, like go try it out. It's worth it.
Gotcha. I'm going to end it with one more person. You as a parent, I know that your kids are still young, but you've got that parent heart. So you still play. So any parents out there that are like, man, I'm on the fence. It's quite a bit of money. I don't know if I should invest that much in. What should be the reason that a parent would say, yes, I need to invest this? What, coming at it from an adult mindset and a parent mindset, what would you say to that parent that's on the fence?
I think I can speak as a parent and as a player, is that if you're invested in your child and you want to see them grow, you know, physically, emotionally, and more important, spiritually, that's what Insane does for you. Like, I know my first year that I was there with the captains that were there, the mentors, with the staff. I know, speaking about the staff, like you, Jacob, you impacted my life at Insane. Like, before Insane, I was like in an off path as far as spiritually. The only reason I got involved is because my wife at the time, my girlfriend, Esmer, you know, she invited me. I didn't think much of it, but as soon as I entered Insane, it was like Rafael was speaking, I entered like, it's almost like a force field. Like everything all the baggage, everything that I had, like it disappeared.
You could just put it away for a little while. Away.
And spiritually, it got me right again with God, you know?
I got you.
So like, if you want to see your kid change, Insane will do that for your child.
Gotcha. Man, I don't think there's any better way to end the episode than that right there. Next Next episode, we do have Crowder's Ridge, which to
Crowder's
me
Ridge.
is a whole nother level of insane.
7-day
Yes.
retreat.
Was that the 7-day
That
one?
was the 7-day
The
one.
first year was the 7-day
The
one?
first year was the
No
7
way.
day.
Yeah, because
Oh, man. Wow.
We're
I
gonna have
remember
to-
I came back that year and I was like, oh crap, man, 7 days, and like it was like
We're gonna have to dig
I
in.
can't believe
deep.
we did 7 days.
The
Yes.
longest insane.
That's insane.
And that's where the 2-time MVP.
Oh.
Oh, whatever.
Okay.
And then
Wait. Okay. We got to end it. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Insane Empire podcast.